Unlock your dream property with Meeks Realty Group, where Rich the Realtor makes real estate dreams a reality. Whether it's residential or commercial, we've got Charleston to Huntington covered. Your key to exceptional real estate experiences start here. Meeks Realty Group. Contact us at meeks.us.
The views and opinions expressed on this program do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of 580 WCHS, its employees, or WVRC Media. From the studios of WVRC Media, the country, the United States of America, the state, West Virginia, the city, Charleston. This is the Dave Allen Show on 580 Live. And your host.
What we've got here is failure to communicate.
He's kind of a big deal.
I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass, and I'm all out of bubblegum.
Dave Allen.
Hey, folks, say good Tuesday morning to you. Welcome to the show. Senior producer Ryan Nicholson in charge of things this morning. Bigly, Piggly, Wiggly hotline, 304-345-5858. Tony V. Taylor text 304-935-5008. We do the show from the Jared Construction Studios right on time, right on budget. Visit jaredconstruction.com. Phone calls to the show, a service of Bigly, Piggly, Wiggly, Spring Street. Texting services provided by West Virginia's finest men's store, Tony the Taylor on Virginia Street. Tony having this truck show at La Familia Restaurant in Huntington this afternoon and evening from 5 till 8. All kinds of great deals going on there. Visit bestmastertaylor.com or Tony's Facebook page if you'd like more information. Some weather rolling through the area this morning. Had some heavy downpours, as you just heard Jeff talking about on the news, and that's likely to continue off and on throughout the day. Not necessarily an all-day rain or storm event, but you're going to see these pop-up showers come in from time to time. It's pretty heavy ones rolled through the Charleston area within the last 30 to 45 minutes or so, and that is likely to continue throughout the day. Brad McElhinny is going to join us a little bit later on. We'll get a check of what's going on statewide with the political circles or whatever else Mr. Mack can come up with. Also, there's going to be a whole lot of bicycles coming to Charleston next week. I mean, a whole lot. It's not just the bikes. It's everything that goes along with it, with the concerts and the street shuts-downs and so on and so forth. And a lot of money rolling into the town as well. Tim Brady from the Charleston Convention and Visitor Bureau will join us to talk about that a little bit later on. Plus, TJ Meadows is here with a preview of Talkline. And as always, your calls and texts. Bigly, Piggly, Wiggly hotline, 304-345-5858. Tony V. Taylor text 304-935-5008. Let's welcome to the show Kanawha County Commissioner Lance Wheeler. How you doing, man?
I'm doing well. Good morning.
You got caught in one of those rainstorms, you told me.
Yeah, I was actually putting the two girls to go to daycare in the truck, and that rain came down quick, and, you know, I took it like a champ. That's what a dad does.
Yeah, but see, when they're a little bit older, and this is why it's probably a good thing I'm not a father, because when they're a little bit older, you could say, go get the truck ready for dad.
Well, I think Aubrey would do that, but she's 3, and I'd be afraid she might take off with it.
Well, that's true. So you don't want to get tapped with Grand Theft Auto at 3 years old.
No,
that's something we would do in southern West Virginia. That's not a Kanawha County thing. Well, a lot I want to talk to you about today. And anyone that knows me, Commissioner, knows I'm an animal lover, 1,000%. But word has come out that the Fix Charleston Clinic that offered low-cost veterinary services will be closing. What can you tell us about that?
Well, I'd say they're closing. I think they're refocusing their interest in trying to help out the fostering and the adoption animals. You know, it's getting a lot more expensive to run just about anything these days, and the animal shelters no different. And so they're looking at what they can do with the adoption and the fostering, and making sure they're focusing on those animals and taking care of them. The walk-in clinic, I think they're going to take away some of push back some of those resources. But when Bethany Havley, the executive director, called me and told me this, I immediately had a concern for low-cost spay and neuter. This isn't the spay and neuter for the adoption and the fostering, but the walk-ins. And we have a lot of activists, I will call them. We have a lot of community activists. We have a lot of volunteers that do a lot of trapping of their own in their community with feral cats and stray dogs, and they'll bring them to the animal shelter just for the intention of making sure that they're spayed and neutered, and that we're not overpopulating our community with feral cats and stray dogs. And so that's obviously something they can't do on a private veterinarian. It's too expensive for them.
Mm-hmm.
I want to make sure that here in our community, we're taking care of that issue so we don't have an overpopulation. So I immediately got with a good friend of mine, great partner, Rachel Burgess with the Fix 'em Clinic. And if you haven't heard of the Fix 'em Clinic, look them up. They are a low-cost animal care center that will do spay and neuter. They'll do flea and tick. They're a nonprofit, and I reached out to them, and before we've had good conversations with the animal shelter and then obviously Fix 'em Clinic, and they've been working really well together. And immediately Rachel Burgess said, "We want to help." And so we've gotten with Bethany Havley. They're creating a plan to be able to, anyone that walks into the animal shelter says, "Hey, I have an animal that I need to have spayed or neutered."
Mm-hmm.
They're going to refer them over to the Fix 'em Clinic, and they're going to get that taken care of at a low cost. I think that's important, again, for these community activists that are doing such a great job of making sure that we don't have an overpopulation, but giving them an option to go somewhere outside of a private veterinarian.
And yeah, on every Friday, on the show, I have Angie Gilliwater from the Kanawha Charleston Humane Association on, and I mean, you could just hear it in her voice, the issues they have with the overcrowding up there. I mean, as a matter of fact, as of last week, she said on the Friday segment that we do that they were not going to be accepting any pets up there, any strays, unless they were sick and like emergency care situations. So if you find one running in your neighborhood, there's nothing they can do. They have nowhere to put them.
They do an excellent job. And it's not just Kanawha County. They have helped out assist some of our other sister counties. Putnam County, for instance, we're all aware, it was in the media. They were having some issues with their administration at that time. I immediately got Bethany Havley and I told her, "Listen, I need you to call the Putnam County Commission. We'll help where we can." And we got them back on their feet, and they're doing a lot better for Putnam County. I think that affects Kanawha County because I don't think feral cats and stray dogs know boundaries.
No.
So being able to help onto that, they've done an excellent job. But Fix 'em Clinic's done an excellent job here in Kanawha County as well. I'm very proud of the work they're doing. And so by them being able to take more and more of these spayed and neuters, it's going to come at a cost. And so this Thursday at the county commission meeting, I'm going to be proposing to the commission looking at $10,000 to go to the Fix 'em Clinic to help assist them in this transition of taking more and more of these animals for spayed and neutered. Again, it's not something that's cheap. They run as a nonprofit. This is a loss every single time. I think this $10,000 would help. I would like for this money to come from the dog tax fund.
Mm-hmm.
This is the non-traditional tax dollars that people pay for a dog tax. We at the county commission have always used this money for anything that do with animals. I think this is appropriate, and I think this is going to help them in this transition. Without this money, I think it's going to be very difficult for them to take on this much demand. But again, this has been a great partnership between the Humane Association and Fix 'em Clinic, and being able to do this is going to be great for our community, especially the animal lovers like you and I, Dave.
Talking again with Kanawha County Commissioner Lance Wheeler, Dave Allen Show on 580 Live, brought to you in part by Huston's Pizza. This month, get a large 18-inch pepperoni pizza and an order of cinnamon bites, $20.99. Eat and pick up or get delivery by going to HustonsPizza.com. We had a text here. It says, "I love. That's 3 loves. The Fix 'em Clinic, such a great, caring group of people."
Yeah, they really are. Rachel Burgess, I talked to her many times, and she is a volunteer. She's a trooper, and they've got a great organization up there. They invited me up. I got to see behind the scenes of how they're able to take on so many animals to get them spayed and neutered and help take care of them. And again, it's not just the feral cats and stray dogs. We have a lot of low-income households that can't afford to go to a private veterinarian to get these services, and they take them on to help them. Because at the end of the day, we care about the animals, and we care about their owners who love and cherish their little animals as well.
Mentioned earlier, Commissioner, that Tim Brady from the Charleston CVB will be on the show to talk about the bike event next week, and it's going to be absolutely huge. I know you guys on the county side are very interested to see what happens there as well.
Yeah, actually, our CVB that we just recently revitalized, we got certified by the state. That's a big deal because you can't fund a CVB through the hotel motel tax money unless it's certified.
Yep.
And so getting that accreditation was huge. And we just actually recently, our board with the Kanawha County CVB just approved, I believe it was $10,000, maybe $5,000 to help support this bike event because, again, this is an absolutely incredible event, and this is one of those big events that it's not just supporting Charleston.
No.
We see this countywide and even stretching into some of our neighboring counties, the economic development effect of that event being here. I was able to go in Charleston with my family and some friends, and we got to watch the bikes race. And it's something that you just can't find anywhere else.
And I'm interested to see, and we'll talk to Tim about this, how it comes off this year, because last year, and Tim and Mayor Goodwin and the folks will tell you, I don't want to say they didn't know what they were doing. They certainly did, but you learn as you go. And year 2 and 3 is where you really kind of kick into gear and say, well, this worked, this didn't. We're going to try this traffic pattern, and so it's going to be a great event. We'll talk to Tim Brady about that coming up a little bit later on. Now, you got big happenings in Clendenin, I understand.
We have big happenings happening everywhere, but tomorrow in Clendenin, we're really excited about this. The county commission's been working with the town of Clendenin, Mayor Kay Summers, for a couple years now. When she came in my office and told me that they had this big idea for a trailhead with the Elk River Trail system that's going through Clendenin. And so we got with them and started applying for grants. We did some matching funds as well from the county commission. And so tomorrow we're going to have the ribbon cutting for this trailhead. The Elk River Trail is about 48 miles long, goes into Braxton County. And this is just another thing. We talk about the cycling. This is just another thing of attracting people here into our community, but also at the same time giving opportunities for our locals to be able to enjoy the outdoors safely, have a place that they can take their e-bike or their bicycle, mountain bike, maybe just go for a walk or a jog. And having these opportunities, I think, is incredible, again, for our community, but also for the economic development. When you start saying, hey, come on over here from Pennsylvania to see the bike race, not everyone's watching the bike race for 24 hours, through that whole weekend. They're going to have other opportunities to go out. So going to be able to go to Clendenin and having this trailhead that they can park at, safely walk, jog, bike, however they choose. I think it's going to be really big, and I think it's going to be big for Clendenin, which deserves as much economic development opportunities as we can give them.
She's something else, the mayor of Clendenin. Is she something else or what?
She is, as I've always said, she is the best representative for that town. She will fight for her people, for her constituents. She will not accept no as an answer. And she does that with love for her people, her town, her community. That's where that fight and that fire that everyone talks about with Mayor Summers comes from. It comes from her love.
She's an amazing lady. Before we let you go, last week, or I think it was last week, maybe the week before, we had on County Commission President Ben Salango talking about the future of the Capitol Sports Complex.
Yeah.
Any comment from you on that?
Well, I think he said it best. We're on pause right now because of a lot of different things going on. Obviously, looking at what the federal government's $7 million was going to, bring in was going to be helpful. But, I look at the budget and I start to think, this is going to be a very costly construction. And just recently, the Kanawha County Commission just had to increase our jail bill by $1 million for the year. We had to look at our PIA costs have gone up $500,000. It was going to be $800,000, but unfortunately, in my office with staff, we were able to move some things around, and we actually made it a little bit more cost saving without changing the healthcare coverage for our employees. And so when you start looking at all the things that have increased in our budget, and the judicial annex is another example. We just had to take a $15 million bond out on that. You start looking at the $7 million. It didn't come from the federal government. You start looking at the county's budget. I think that this is something that we have to stop. Be fiducial responsibility to the taxpayers, making sure that we're doing the right thing, and making sure that this is something that's affordable. So by stopping, reevaluating, and doing it the right way, I think is the correct thing to do. Rushing this and just jumping into it and starting putting concrete on ground and pillars and having a ribbon cutting just for construction, just so we can have a building that's unfinished, I think that's irresponsible. I think this is something that we're going to continue to work on. Look at all the great things we've done with the Hatfield-McCoy Trail, dirt bikes, the Appalachian Outlaw Trails that we announced right here on this show coming to Eastern Kanawha County, the Trailhead and Clendenin, along with the Gravity Trails. We've been moving that needle in the right direction for as many outdoor recreational events as possible. Even Shawnee Sports Complex, the renovations we've been putting there, So we want to make sure that with everything we're doing it correctly. I think the pause is the right move.
But you're calling it a pause. You're not a pause or a halt or whatever. You're not saying it's done, right?
No, I don't think it's done. I think there's still work to be done. But we have to be realistic, and we have to be realistic of not getting too far ahead of ourselves and building something that we can't afford. And so if we're going to build it, we're going to make sure that we do it responsibly. And that's why we're pausing, we're reevaluating. But at the end of the day, we know having a sports complex in Charleston is going to be a game changer for this community, for this county, for the state. But it doesn't mean that all the great things that we've done haven't moved this needle in the right direction. I see in the future Kanawha County being the capital of the world for outdoor recreation. Nowhere in this in United States can you find a urban area like Charleston that you're 15 minutes away from backwoods, right? And you can literally 15-minute drive be at the largest trail system for ATVs, side-by-sides, dirt bikes with the Appalachian Outlaw Trails. 20 minutes away, you can be at the largest dirt bike park east of the Mississippi. You don't see those things anywhere else. We have a real opportunity with low-hanging fruit to be that capital where people go when they think tourism, they think side-by-sides, they think dirt bikes, they think walking trails, they think hikes. They're going to think Kanawha County. And that's our goal. That's what we're doing with our Conventions Visitors Bureau. That's what this county's been doing for years now. And having the Capital City Sports Complex will be the icing on the cake. But again, we're going to do it right, and we're going to do it fiscally responsible.
All right. Kanawha County Commissioner Lance Wheeler, appreciate you being here, man. Thanks a lot. Hang out with me 1 second here for Dave Allen Show on 580 Live, brought to you in part by your hometown baseball team, the Charleston Dirty Birds. Birds back at home tonight to begin the series against Staten Island. Tonight, $2 Tuesday, $2 tickets, popcorn, hot dogs, and sodas. Visit dirtybirdsbaseball.com or their social media if you need more information. We're back right after this on the Voice of Charleston, WCHS.
Are you a physical therapy assistant and looking for an opportunity in orthopedics, wellness, and athletic care? If so, Generations Physical Therapy is offering flexible work hours and an upbeat atmosphere. With 7 convenient locations, Generations may have a job designed for you. Visit generationspt.com.
All law firms are not the same. Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm.
Office 222 Capitol Street, Charleston. Cases will be handled by West Virginia licensed attorneys. The attorney in this ad is not licensed in West Virginia. ForThePeople.com.
Poca Valley Bank has a new name. We are now simply Poca Valley, and here is why we're changing. Our place in the community goes beyond banking. While we still provide the finest in banking services, we also bring excellence in wealth management and financial planning, accounting, and bookkeeping services. Whether you're planning for the future or managing today, we offer the expertise you need. With 8 convenient locations, we're here to help you thrive. Discover the difference at Poca Valley. Relationships matter. Member FDIC.
Farmers feed us all. So why is the litigation industry threatening their go-to crop protection tool? Without glyphosate, we'll all see even higher grocery bills. Take a stand at TakeControlOhio.com. Paid for by Modern Ag Alliance in support of Ohio farmers.
Stuck in a career rut? Are you ready for personal and professional growth? Earn your MBA in as little as 18 months with Glenville State University. Glenville State University's MBA program offers flexibility, allowing you to study from anywhere at any time. With cutting-edge concentrations like artificial intelligence, cybersecurity, healthcare administration, and more, we implement the latest innovations partnered with real-world experience. Visit glenville.edu to learn more and apply today.
$926, Bigley, Piggly Wiggly Hotline, 304-345-5858. Tony the Taylor, text 304-935-5008. The Dave Allen Show on 580 Live is brought to you in part by Pinnacle Consultants. Pinnacle offers a 4-phase assessment for your property's inspection, sampling and analysis, comprehensive reporting, and management planning. Visit pinnaclecorp.net because what you don't know can hurt you. Coming up a little bit later on, we are going to talk to Tim Brady from the Charleston CBB. Text says the Fix 'em Clinic can use donated items, also food, litter, blankets, bathing items, toys, and for recovered animals after surgery, etc. Good idea. Let's bring in Brad McElhinny right now. Brad, hey man, how's it going?
Oh, hi. Good morning. Happy Congressional Reconciliation Week.
You know, and I didn't even buy you a card. Sorry.
I think you could repurpose any Mother's Day cards that you didn't use. Just mark out Mother's Day and write in reconciliation.
If I could spell reconciliation, I would.
Well, I wouldn't recognize it if I saw it, so I think you're okay.
Gotcha. Hey, if you hear that sound, that zzz and buzz and static, you know what that is? That's the internet trying to connect in West Virginia. What's up with the latest on the internets, Mr. McElhinny?
We don't have it.
Okay, thanks for being here. Now, what do you got?
Well, West Virginia has long been in need both for potential people who would like to connect, but also for businesses, including entrepreneurs. I mean, one thing the pandemic showed us is that if people are properly equipped, they can do their work from home and maybe start their own business or side business or whatever, and having greater connectivity in West Virginia would be a long-sought blessing. West Virginia officials felt really good and confident about a federal internet expansion program that began under the Biden administration. There's a new sheriff in town, though, and President Trump and his administration, in particular, Commerce Secretary Lutnick, have paused the program just to reassess it, and it may be fine. Maybe just a matter of, all right, we're going to take a look at this. But the thing is, West Virginia was right at the touchdown yard marker, right ready to score. Had gotten most of its plan together and felt like, all right, we are, just within a lightning strike of getting, millions of dollars to expand West Virginia internet to underserved and unserved communities. Senator Capito is frustrated by this pause. She both sent a letter to Lutnick asking him to expedite the review and to move ahead with things, and then talked about this delay in a meeting with reporters from West Virginia late last week. This was just a broad-ranging regular Capito briefing, but this was one of the top topics on her mind. She said there's a hold on our application right now. Capito said we were 6 weeks away from having our application approved so that we could begin work, turn the door to get the last of these broadband connections to everybody. And then she concluded her statements to West Virginia reporters by saying, I'm very frustrated.
Well, and Brad, those of us that live...
More people could be listening to you streaming right now if we just had better broadband.
Well, I don't know if anybody wants to see that. But I will say this, here in the Kanawha Valley, for the most part, we're very fortunate. And there may be people listening to us here, Kanawha, Putnam, surrounding areas, and thinking, what are these guys talking about? You go to certain areas of the state. I want to go ahead and hazard to say the majority of the state you go to, you're going to struggle with not only internet, you're going to struggle with cell phone. I mean, where, God bless her, where my stepmother lives, and granted, it is kind of fur piece removed where she lives. If it rains, she doesn't have a landline in her house. If it rains, like the rain like we had rolled through the Kanawha Valley about an hour ago, I promise you, I try to call her right now, she has no phone. And that's where we are. She has no landline. Cell phones, that's not even an issue. She hasn't had internet in months. And there's a variety of reasons for that. And the companies will tell you, look, it is not economically feasible for us to go in and provide internet to all those people. And I understand that, but I also understand that if we are a state that fancies ourselves, as you well know, Brad, and we hear all of our elected officials say, we want these people, now that after COVID and now that everybody's living in a remote world and nobody has to go into the office anymore, we want people to come to West Virginia to work here, to play here, to raise their families here, whatever. We want them here because when they're not working, they can go to the New River Gorge, or they can go four-wheeling, or they can do whatever else we want to do. We got to get this figured out in West Virginia, but it comes, and God bless Kelly Workman and those folks that are doing all they can. I know on the statewide level, we got to look at Washington and say something's got to happen here. I mean, is that me editorializing too much?
No, I don't think so, and I think you're right that in the Kanawha Valley, it's easy to forget that much of the rest of the state is unserved or underserved. And, it's not only, I think, internet for residential use, whether it's streaming Netflix or Prime or whatever, but also trying to encourage the kind of business development that relies on reliable internet, whether that's a company or whether it's, you could live very near the kind of beautiful locations you described, the New River Gorge or Canaan Valley or whatever. And this day and age, you could potentially do your own business or have your own business on the side if you could just connect properly. And that's the challenge that West Virginia continues to face. I mean, some of the callers or texters or whoever may say, well, what about Starlink? What about satellite internet? And that could be an answer, for residential customers. But I think for the kind of business reliability that we're talking about, it requires, probably a more fiber-based, reliable signal.
The Dave Allen Show on 580 Live is brought to you in part by Jute, J-O-O-T Security Systems. Those are protected by Jute.com, or follow them on Facebook. And I'll say this and we'll move on. And people hear the term internet and they think, well, it's just something for entertainment. Look, if you don't have quality internet, you can't run a business at all, period. And internet is the water / gas / sewage of the mid 20th century. That's where it is. I saw, this kind of caught my interest, Brad. I saw where the governor is advertising for, I'm quoting here, top talent to join our official team in Charleston. Energetic, detail-oriented individuals who thrive in a fast-paced environment to help with the Mountain State comeback. And I saw that last night. I saw that it was posted on the governor's pages, and I thought, well, if this whole radio thing doesn't work out, maybe I've got a future.
Oh, yeah. And, the nature of the ad is very inspiring. Who wouldn't be for, West Virginia's rise to be the city in the mountains?
Yeah.
What is the phrase? The state in the mountains?
Anyway. Yeah, whatever.
It's incredibly inspirational, except that I can't remember the specifics. And speaking of specifics, I looked at that, and I will tell you that will not be me, just to lay that on the table. Mm-hmm. But I did take a look at it, because first thing I thought was, well, who left? Who's he trying to replace? I don't know the answer to that. Maybe no one, maybe someone. I have no idea. But then you get down into it, and it encourages you to apply, but doesn't really say what you're applying for.
Well, you just got to be energetic and detail-oriented.
Or anything else, except for that level of inspiration.
So that's again, if you're interested in that position, you can log on to the governor's social media and elsewhere. It'll take you to. I did think it was interesting though that they said that they, and I'm kind of paraphrasing here, they must be able to work in Charleston, which I completely understand. But you don't see a lot of jobs because normally with most job seekers these days, they say, "Can I work from home?" And obviously this kind of job, you're going to have to be around the Charleston area. And again, with this governor, we have seen he's at the Capitol, and he's certainly traveling around the state of West Virginia, and not just to give out checks. He's actually doing the stuff. He's actually a part of it. I don't know. I just thought that was, I thought that was interesting. I saw that last night on the socials, as the kids would say. All right. What else are you working on today, sir?
The governor, I think, does have a briefing in the Parkersburg area. He and his staff do a great job of letting you know he'll be somewhere, but not letting you know what they will be there about. So that remains a little bit of a mystery. Talkline, which is coming up, has Congressman Riley Moore. Of course, I made some jokes about the federal budget reconciliation when we first began, but it is a big week in Washington regarding federal finances, extension of the Trump tax cuts from 2017, some tinkering with Medicaid that I am still trying to understand to be able to afford the continuation of those cuts. So perhaps Congressman Moore can let us know a little bit more about what he's thinking.
All right. We'll be listening for you, and we'll be reading you, and because we have quality internet here in the Kanawha Valley, that won't be an issue.
That is great, and I am relieved. And, for the folks around the rest of the state, hopefully you at least have good cell service.
All right. Brad, always a pleasure, my friend. We'll talk again soon. Thanks a lot.
Take care. Thank you.
Brad McElhinny, 23 minutes now in front of 10. The Dave Allen Show on 580 Live, brought to you part by Live Healthy, West Virginia, presented by WVU Medicine. Tackling pressing health issues of all types, heart disease, diabetes, and more. Great podcast offering insights into medical breakthroughs and preventative care, featuring WVU Medicine's expert physicians. Great resource, as I said. Check out the latest episodes, WVMetronews.com. Under the podcast menu, start your journey towards better health today. Let me see. Text says, question. Any idea as to why the after-hours emergency clinic in South Charleston costs so much? It's heartbreaking when it comes to some situations. Well, I can't speak for them other than to say that they're a business and they got cost. I guess I can't answer that. Text says, I love how respectful and considerate all three of the Kanawha County commissioners are with each other. Can you three go back to D.C. and teach them how to behave as human beings? All right, Tennant, Salango, and Wheeler, you've got an assignment from the texter here. All right, get out there and make them do better in Washington. Text says, you all pretend that Capito is frustrated, worried, or concerned about the sex abuser doing exactly what he said he'd do. She voted for it. You voted for it. She wanted it. You all wanted it. You're all idiots. Get off your lazy butts, pull yourself up by your bootstraps, and make your own internet. I'm glad you all have no internet. I hope you never get it. Republicans have no honor, and in this case, no intelligence, says a texter. Harshness from the text line. Tim Brady coming up next, back after this on the Voice of Charleston, WCHS.
Brought to you by the Eric J. Tarr Family Businesses. Eric J. Tarr Family Businesses bring first-class businesses to your community.
Warmer days are around the corner. Take advantage and start taking care of those home improvement projects on your list. Members Choice West Virginia Federal Credit Union can help you improve your space with our home improvement loan program. Whether you need to replace your roof, fix your HVAC, install a generator, or something else, MCWV FCU has you covered. Our home improvement loans have a fast processing time and no appraisal is needed. Learn more at memberschoicewv.com. Loans are subject to credit approval. Restrictions may apply. Equal housing lender NMLS number 422340.
My name's Chris Miller. I'm president of Dutch Miller Automotive. Jarrett Construction completely renovated and helped redesign Dutch Miller Kia in South Charleston. The fit and the finish and the quality of the project is exceptional. He has an attention to detail and an eye for that kind of stuff. You always want to give your best to your customer. It's just as important to him as it is to you. If you're ever looking to build anything, I'd call Jarrett Construction because you know exactly you're going to get something excellent every single time.
Call on Jarrett Construction.
When you're hiring, have you ever felt like you're missing out on meeting great candidates? Well, they're not hard to find when you go to ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day. People who are actively looking for jobs like yours. So it's easy to find the right person fast. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Looking to buy or sell U.S. coins or currency, or need an appraisal on a coin collection? The Coin Man in St. Albans has been established since 2009, and he's the area's expert in currency. Whether you're buying or selling coins and coin accessories, he's got you covered. But that's not all. He also deals in select antiques and glassware. Visit the Coin Man today at 2412 Kanawha Terrace in St. Albans and discover treasures that transcend time. The Coin Man, where every coin tells a story.
Welcome back to the show. 20 minutes away from 10. The Dave Allen Show on 580 Live is brought to you part by Morgan & Morgan. Injured hire. Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm. Text says, Shelley Capito frustrated about the federal internet money because she was banking on that to help her to achieve her 20-year failure of a policy known as Capito Connect. Text says, so the internet businesses say it's too expensive and impractical for them to run internet. So Dave alludes to the federal government footing the bill to install internets. That's not exactly what Dave said. Text says, some more context for Trump's lavish Sky Palace gift from terrorist sponsor Qatar. The plane had to be approved by the attorneys general, Pam Biondi. Well, guess who was a paid lobbyist for Qatar who earned $115,000 a month? That's right, Pam Biondi. It's not, is this not a deep state corruption? Where's the outrage, MAGAs? You know, if Biden's name were on all this, you all would have an aneurysm, says a texter. Tim Brady who frequently causes aneurysms, but I don't know that he actually has them, is with us in studio. Now, how you doing, man?
Man, I'm great. We are just days away from, amazing cycling racing in the city of Charleston. But before we talk that, I actually wanted to tell you thank you. I learned something from your radio program this morning.
Wow.
Yeah. So you and I talk a lot about tourism and tourism-related things. You're on the board of directors at Putnam County and their CVB.
Let it be known for the record, I'm the president.
You are the El Presidente.
For one more month.
Yes.
My term ends next month, but go ahead.
But, we've often said that tourists don't care about municipal boundary lines. Well, I found out this morning neither do feral cats.
Yeah, there you go. So
thank you, Lance Wheeler.
I foresee pamphlets, brochures going out. Attention, feral cats. Don't like it in this county, go to that county. It could be the official symbol of the Charleston CVB could be a feral cat.
Yeah, it might already be.
All right. So next week, bikes coming to town.
Yes, sir. There's a smooth transition.
Yeah,
that's why you're a pro.
There's a smooth transition coming to town.
2025 USA Cycling Pro Road National Championships begin Monday in the city of Charleston. Run for 8 straight days. We've got para athletes this year. The whole thing kicks off with paracycling road races. Riders of different
now explain
physical
for people
abilities.
that don't know what para-athletes are.
Riders of different physical abilities. Some of them are they don't have arms, they don't have legs. There are blind cyclists. So you've got all types of different mechanisms that they ride. So these are paralyzed para-athletes competing in the city of Charleston. That's going to be great. They have road races on Monday. They've got time trials on Tuesday, and then the other categories of cyclists begin on Tuesday and run through Memorial Day.
All right. And again, when can people expect for folks to start? I mean, I know you guys are already preparing here, but when can we start seeing the trailers come in, the people coming in? When can we expect the population of Charleston to basically triple?
Triple might be a strong word, but actually there are some of them are already in town. Okay. Anecdotally, I can tell you that we've seen teams and individual riders practicing on the hills on Bridge Road and over on Wirtz Avenue. There was a family from Europe that's in for the cycling races that were up at Lola's over the weekend, and I think drank the place out of Peroni. That's a true story, as I'm told. But they're already here. But we'll see.
Peroni's a good choice, by the way. It's one of my favorite beers.
It's not a bad choice. It does show they have good taste.
Yeah.
A lot of folks will start coming in this week, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. You will start seeing construction of the start-finish truss begin on Friday afternoon after 5 o'clock. Friday evening, you'll see construction of the start-finish line area in front of the 4 points begin, and fencing will start going up over the weekend. So you'll really start to see it develop Friday, Saturday, Sunday in preparation for racing on Monday.
And one of the things that people most I guess one of the most frequently asked questions that I get, you get, the city gets, and whatever, is if maybe, and everybody loves that this thing is coming to town. It's just, unbelievable the amount of people that are going to be here and the amount of money it's going to bring in. And you mentioned the restaurants, Lola's, and all the others are going to be very happy about that. Is how does it affect the person that lives in Charleston? Sure. I mean, I do work in downtown Charleston, but I work at a law office downtown. What am I going to see on my drive into work Monday through Friday next week or whatever?
So by and large, what you're going to see is very little disruption, especially if you're not on the boulevard. I will say that I hope that we built up some trust and goodwill last year because we communicated a plan, we had a plan, we worked the plan, and we kept the disruptions to a minimum. And we want to reapply that formula this year. I can't say enough about the Charleston Police Department, Charleston Public Works, Street Department, all pitching in to help. Every department in the city of Charleston somehow participates in the execution of this race, and they're wonderful. But we had a good plan, and most of the road closures, unless you're right down in the heart of it on the boulevard, are not hard closures. They're rolling closures, meaning that when we have the opportunity, we can flow traffic. So by and large, our hope is that if you see any disruption, it's minimal, and it's, maybe give yourself 10 or 15 extra minutes to get to work. But we've tried to make this plan to the point where people can get where they need to get to. It might just take them a little longer.
What about in the residential neighborhoods? What can those people expect?
So the residential neighborhoods impacted most are, if you think about the Saturday, Sunday, Monday races, the climbs on Wirtz Avenue, and then coming back down Oak Ridge and Greenbrier. And then you've also got the climb of Bridge Road and then the descent of Loudon Heights. And again, those are rolling closures. So as the peloton or pack of riders goes through, obviously we shut down the streets. There's no traffic, but once the pack has gone through, we know we've got 20 to 25 minutes to flow traffic and get people in and out before the race comes back around on the circuit. So those residents, again, in those neighborhoods, give yourself a little extra time, 15, 20 extra minutes on a Saturday, Sunday, Monday to get where you need to go. But our goal and our hope is that everybody gets where they need to go with as little disruption as possible.
I mean, and that's what, some of the, it really wasn't people complaining. They were just questioning, like, on a Saturday afternoon,
yep.
I'm just picking times out of the air here, Tim. 3:00 on a Saturday afternoon, my kid's got a Little League game. I need to be able to get out. You should probably plan accordingly. And where is the best place to go to get all of this information? Because I know you guys put it all out there, social media, whatever. Where is the best place to go to get the guidelines?
So if you go to charlestonwv.com on our homepage and you click to the link to the bike race information, all of the maps and the schedule for the races are there. The City of Charleston website also has very detailed information on road closures. I checked it this morning and it's up to date. So between the CVB website, charlestonwv.com, and the City of Charleston's website, you can find the information that you need. Again, last year was funny. There was a lot of anticipatory grief going into the event, is the way I would put it. A lot of people were worried and complaining and talking about the negative impacts. Once things got started last year, all of it disappeared. It just went away because, again, we had a plan, we worked the plan, and we followed through on what we said. And I think that hopefully, again, that built up some goodwill.
I mean, I mentioned, of course, I work here on Virginia Street in Charleston. The Thursday night last year, I was subbing for Steve Annable. We did a live broadcast at Bar 101 on Capitol Street. We do that a couple times a month. We had no issues whatsoever. Matter of fact, it was kind of cool to be out there, doing a live broadcast while all this is going on. And we're going to be, all of our stations are going to be a big part of it this year as well.
Yeah, we've actually worked harder to engage on the radio side, the West Virginia Radio Corporation stations this year. I know we've got a designated watch zone on Thursday and Friday nights during the Criterium race. It's the corner of Courier and Hale Streets. I know V100, they're going to have the watch zone there on those Thursday and Friday nights. I think Woody at the Beat is going to do some different things potentially down on Capitol Street from what I'm told. But I think what we've tried to do this year, we figured it out last year. We got through last year and then figured out where can we augment this? Where can we create some ancillary activity, create a more fun environment so we can amplify what we did last year and make it more fun for the community this year. So we've got some watch zones, the V100 watch zone there at the corner of Courier and Hale. We've got a watch zone at the end of Capitol Street in partnership with Sam's and Groove and Blue Parrot and the bars and restaurants down there in that first block of Capitol Street. Of course, Slack Plaza is going to be a great place to watch the night races as well. Working with Arts Amplified to create live music in the park Thursday and Friday nights and all day long, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. Can't say enough nice things about Brian Cooper and the job he's done in helping to organize that. And then Emily Crouch and all the folks up at Bridge Road creating a watch zone at the shops of Bridge Road on Monday, Memorial Day. That's going to be a great place to watch as well.
All right. Tim, I know you got a lot to do, and I appreciate you taking time out of your schedule today. Go ahead.
I would be remiss if I left out of here without thanking just a couple of organizations. Yeah. I mentioned the City of Charleston, the support from Mayor Amy Goodwin and her whole staff. This doesn't happen without their full support. This year we've brought in a presenting sponsor in Spillman, Thomas, and Battle. Mike Basil and all of the folks at Spillman have been a big part of planning this year's event, and their support has allowed us to create some of these other fun activities that we wanted to do. So really need to thank them. And then the other big partner in all of this, and there are a lot of partners, but I want to specifically call out CAMC and the CAMC Foundation. They provide all of our medical care for free in exchange for their sponsorship. And this doesn't happen without the complete and full buy-in from the team at CAMC, making sure that all of the riders stay safe. So I really just wanted to make sure before I get out of here today that I thank those three organizations specifically. There are a lot of others, and I appreciate all of them, but those three organizations this does not happen without their support.
Well, we're basically turning the station over to you next. Man, if you could see that on camera, what an evil grin he had there. It'll be all wrestling talk. You'll bring Matt Sutton in. It'll be terrible. But Adam Harris as well. All right, we're going to be talking a whole lot about this. I'm going to actually devote an entire show one day next week. Try to get the mayor in here and some of the other folks. Maybe I'd love to have some of the riders if they're or the sponsors or whomever on the show.
I'd love to bring in the executive director of USA Cycling, Brendan Quirk. He's a great guy. I'd love to bring him in one day next week and let him talk about. And I just want to say too, Dave, I really appreciated a lot of the things that Commissioner Wheeler was saying while he was in here about outdoor recreation, because this all ties together. This cycling race and some of the outdoor recreation development, and we're working on additional developments, activities on the CVB side. It all goes hand in hand, and I think we all have a common goal of making Kanawha County and Charleston the capital of outdoor recreation in this part of the country, and it's all of these things working together collaboratively to get there. So,
the Dave Allen Show on 580 Live, brought to you part by Bridge Valley, offering custom tailored training to supply skilled graduates and apprenticeships for your company. Visit bridgevalley.edu. Mr. Brady, always a pleasure. We'll be talking a lot over the next few days.
Thanks, brother. I appreciate your time.
9:52. Back after this on the Voice of Charleston, WCHS.
Brought to you by the Eric J. Tarr Family Businesses. Eric J. Tarr Family Businesses want to thank you for shopping locally.
This is Jim Strong from Monticola Security. Risk mitigation, asset protection, employee safety, compliance, emergency response, peace of mind, and more. Monticola Security. Whatever, wherever, whoever needs protection. That is their passion. Serving the tri-state area. Being safe and secure is not a product, it's a process, a sense of peace. Contact Monticola at monticolasecurity.com or give them a call, 304-595-1500.
The free Metro News TV app is the place to watch the voice of West Virginia all day. See Talkline with Dave and TJ, Sportsline with Tony Caridi, Free Guys before the game, and now Metro News Middays and Hotline with Dave weekly, right on your smart TV or streaming device. Get the Metro News Television app from the Apple App Store or Google Marketplace. Metro News Television is powered by Dan Cabot GMC, Gomart, Lou Wendell Marine, the Stike Team at Wealth Enhancement Group, and Panhandle Cleaning and Restoration.
Opening day has arrived and baseball is back for another season. And while you may not be joining the boys of summer on the field this year, that doesn't mean you can't still hit a home run.
It's way back. It's a home run.
Walker Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram is stacked with inventory this spring to help you find the perfect vehicle to get to the game or even just to the grocery store. But you know you're going to get the best deal possible at Walker because Gene and Ryan built their business the old-fashioned way by making friends. There are no gimmicks or games at Walker, just honest, fair deals. And don't forget, Walker is still buying cars too. And that's right, all makes and models are welcome in Walker, and they'll give you top dollar for yours, even if you plan to buy somewhere else. So knock one out of the park this spring and get into that new vehicle that you've been dreaming of.
A grand slam! Holy cow!
Just take the short 20-minute drive from Charleston or Huntington to Walker Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, just off the Hurricane exit of I-64. Walker Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, making friends one deal at a time.
Vaccines are your best protection against severe disease from flu and COVID-19. If you're 65 or older, risk less, do more with this season's vaccines. Get started at vaccines.gov, paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services. Dave Allen Show on 580 Live, brought to you in part by Snap Fitness, with a wide selection of equipment, including free weights, cardio machine weights, and more. 5 great locations: Charleston, Hurricane, Winfield, Barbersville, and Milton. Visit snapfitness.com if you'd like more information. Coming up on the show tomorrow, going to spend some time with the folks from the Mountaineer Food Bank. Also, I love to talk about food. This Sunday's Charlie West Barbecue Fest at City Center Slack Plaza. We'll spend some time on that on the show coming up tomorrow as well. Text says, are these texters not watching the news? Inflation is down. Gas and food prices are down. Trump secured trade deals with the UK and China. Stock market is up. Trump secured the release of American hostage Eden Alexander from Hamas and took on Big Pharma, cutting prescription drug prices by up to 80% this week. Text says, I caught the end of the Elk River Trail segment. Did they say a trailhead is opened up in Glendenning? They're having all the festivities with that coming up tomorrow with Mayor, one of my favorite people in the world, Mayor Kay Summers, coming up on the show tomorrow. Quick news note, kind of a tragic story here. Jeff has the story posted on the website this morning. Police have now released the names of the 4 people that were involved in a double fatal Mother's Day morning at the 77-64 split. The crash killed the driver, 29-year-old Tiara Pitts, and the passenger, 30-year-old Caitlin Berger, both of Charleston. 2 men who were passengers in the minivan still in the hospital, stable condition. 19-year-old Javon Cousins and 29-year-old Fontaine Nelson, both of Charleston. The minivan went off the bridge shortly after 4:30 early Mother's Day morning Sunday. It's a tragic story, and again, Jeff has more posted about it at WVMetroNews.com. Look who's here. It's our good buddy, TJ Meadows. How you doing?
I must have missed the fact that pharmaceutical prices instantly went down yesterday by 80%.
I was going to read this text to you to get your response. Let me read it to you again. Inflation is down. Okay, inflation is down.
That's true.
Gas and food prices are down.
Is gas down? I have to look at that one. I don't know about gas.
Well, I just did a big haul at the grocery store over the weekend. I would argue with some of that.
Yeah.
Trump secured trade deals with the UK and China.
And how come China gets as good a deal as the UK, our longstanding ally? Somebody answer that one for me.
The stock market is up.
Yes, it is, but it was also artificially taken down.
Trump secured the release of the American hostage from Hamas.
I haven't looked at that much, but I'm glad the gentleman's out, or the lady's out.
And took on Big Pharma, cutting prescription prices by up to 80% this week.
Hasn't happened yet. Announced his EO to, but nothing has dropped yet.
Okay.
This will end up like tariffs. They'll take a 5% haircut. He'll call it victory. We'll move on.
All right. What else you got looking? What else you looking at on today's show?
On today's
got your mind?
I'm going to tell you what, man. There's not enough RAM left for everything that's going on in the world right now. Jared Halpern joins us coming up at 10:06. We'll talk. Actually, you know what? What did I do here?
By the way, while you're looking up here, text says gas is down, but it literally just came down today.
Okay. I'll have to go look at it. I know the RBOB, the wholesale price, is what I tend to watch a little bit. I think it was going to trade down a little bit. But, look at oil. Let's see what happens with oil and if oil stays down. Because oil's been down for a while now.
Mm-hmm.
So, look, I didn't plan to talk about this. President of the United States, I don't care, Republican, Democrat, Trump, Biden, whomever, they don't control the price of oil. They don't control the price of commodities. I mean, the market does that. Now, they can't do anything to improve the price, but sometimes they can interfere and artificially screw it up, and I think that's what we've seen. So hopefully we're seeing a return to normal. And look, I'm not trying to hate on Trump, but I think you have to look at all of this stuff for what it is. We're casting these huge visions, and we're settling for very, very little. Somebody explain to me why China essentially gets a better deal than our longstanding ally, Great Britain. Explain that to me, because I'm still scratching my head on that.
I think you and a lot of other people are, but to try living without Chinese products and see what happens as opposed to living without British products.
Well, even Bessent said yesterday, we're not trying to decouple anymore because we can't. We're not ready for it. And maybe that's someone's fault, but we can't.
All right, quick text. Trump reversed Biden's IRA cap of insulin, says the texter. All right, we got to leave it there. Coming up on the show tomorrow, folks from Mountaineer Food Bank will stop by. More on this Sunday's Charlie West Barbecue Fest at City Center Slack Plaza. Amanda Barron, 13 News, and Tonight Live anchor Amanda Barron and I coming up at Metro News Midday, powered by Salango Law at noon today. Till then, have fun and love somebody.
WCHS-AM, W243DRFM Charleston, and W283AQ Cross Lanes, a WVRC media station. We're proud to live here too.